pond slash lake is so clear that you can watch them swim up to your bait and suck it in.
Nice.
That's awesome.
What's awesome is we were catching trout with salmon eggs, little dirty little cannibals.
Oh my god.
All right, I threw us live.
Oh,
you
shit.
know what? We're gonna fuck it. We're doing it live. So I'm gonna have to just refer to your character sheet until I get it all put in, Wolf.
Yeah,
Everybody else should be put in. Does Susanna know where to go in Roll20 to look at her character sheet and all that stuff?
Yeah, I got it.
Cool. All right. Let's do... This should entertaining. Oh, great. Already have somebody waiting to see me fail.
Oh.
All right.
I have a name for my paladin.
Of course you do. Hank the Paladin. Good name, Hank.
Nope.
Good name.
Oh my lord. Really?
No.
No,
His
what?
name is going to be Thistle.
Thistle?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I don't have that.
All right. Changed. Okay. Let's do this thing. Curse of Strahd. So what we're going to be playing today is called Death House. It is an opening campaign for Curse of Strahd that gets people involved into the world, sets the atmosphere, kind of what's going on. But more importantly, from a player perspective, it's designed to level you through milestones from level 1 to level 3, so that when you are, trying to take Strahd down, you at least have some things at your disposal right from the get-go in the actual campaign. This is designed to last about 2 to 4 hours, depending on how fast or slow it goes. As we were talking about offline, it is very much roleplay focused in a lot of ways. There are some encounters here and there, but this is mostly going to be setting the scene and character building and all that sort of thing. So, yep, it could take as long as it takes, as long as you guys let it take, basically. So we're going to start off pretty simply. I'm going to introduce your characters and you guys. Well, I'll introduce you as players and then ask what characters you're playing, maybe a small description and whatnot, and then we'll get you into the land of Barovia to see why you're here. We'll start off with Tony, since you are the GM for the other stuff we do here. I think it's appropriate that we find out what you're doing here. Who are you?
My character is Torek Truesteel, and he is a dwarven cleric in the service of Cord. So thus he is of the Tempest faith, basically. He is of the Tempest domain.
Okay, cool. So what the setting for this is, you guys are all doing your own thing, and then a mist kind of envelops you. What were you doing when you got lost in the mist? Where were you traveling to? Where was Torek going?
Torek at the time was likely seeking out lands that he knew were of holy inspiration, as he is a devout follower of a prominent cleric by the name of Vordarn.
Okay.
And as such, he wished to visit lands that Vordarn thought were significant places in his life. So in a way, he was almost kind of doing like a pilgrimage.
A pilgrimage, yeah.
Yeah,
for
he was
sure.
doing a pilgrimage to a land that was sacred to someone that he kind of idolizes as a devout follower of Cord, because this person was like a very big person that Torek looked up to.
Sure. So as you're traveling, maybe you're with a party, or maybe you're solo. Are you going solo pilgrimage, or do you have people with you?
At the time, I did not have people, but I was venturing to a city where it was believed that there was concentrations of people who were also faithful believers in Cord's service. So I pretty much was going to go see if that rumor was actually true.
Okay.
Before making the full journey out there. If he would have needed to go by himself, he would have.
Yeah. Okay. So I think he did.
At the time, he was alone. He had not made it to the city where the believers were.
I think he was traveling alone for sure. He's going to a place that he wasn't too familiar with, and then one night the creeping fog sort of came in, and he just kind of lost direction of where he was going. Very heavily obscured. The only thing you see ahead of you is a fire, and you start walking towards it, but you can't really see where it's leading. let's go over to Homer or Hank or whatever you want to be called as we do this. Who are you? What are you doing?
My character is the half-orc Thistle,
Mm-hmm.
and he was once as a mercenary in an army, but something went wrong, and his entire company was wiped out. He's the sole survivor, and then swore an oath of holy vengeance against those that had destroyed his company. And
Okay.
is now traveling as a paladin, and he has little regard for his own life.
Like you're traveling from war?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, again, same sort of thing. You have seen some shit. You are not feeling so great. So you're not really knowing where you're going, not really caring, maybe. So you just continually walk into a forest, and eventually you're just kind of swept up in this fog as well. You don't really see what's going on. You just see a small shimmering light in the distance. So you decide, well, what the hell, and you just go for it and keep walking.
All right.
Wolf, who are you?
Balian Mordraken, third-born son of the noble House Mordraken. Knowing that I had no inheritance, I decided to strike out and do my own thing. I always had a knack for reading people and getting to the bottom of things, so I became a city investigator, quickly raised up to lead inquisitor.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time of our mist fog, I had probably just completed a case, appointed somebody to be my temporary successor, and was taking a vacation going back home to my noble home.
Okay. Were you traveling with a party, or were you just kind of going back home alone?
Going back home alone. Just me and the horse with no name.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Yeah. No, as you're doing so, like, you know these lands quite well, and you know people that know these lands quite well. So it seems a little surprising to you when all of a sudden you feel like you don't know where you're going, and your vision is obscured by a heavy fog.
Our tribe is very close with the Fae, and it started out, doing minor illusions and things like that, tricking passersby in the woods. Forest gnomes aren't really known for wanting to be seen or discovered by other races, but fairies being what they are, they're fairly transient. And my master or mistress Fae decided to, I don't believe in time as you believe in it, so I'm just going to poof and never come back. So in a need or want to improve my magic, I decided to set it from the forest fairies. Our tribe is very close with the Fae, and it started out, doing minor illusions and things like that, tricking passersby in the woods. Forest gnomes aren't really known for wanting to be seen or discovered by other races, but fairies being what they are, they're fairly transient. And my master or mistress Fae decided to, I don't believe in time as you believe in it, so I'm just going to poof and never come back. So in a need or want to improve my magic, I decided to set out on my own.
Sure. So as you're looking around, you actually see this mist. It's clear where you are. However, you see this weird mist in the distance, and you're a little intrigued by it because it's not of natural means of which you've ever seen before. So being intrigued by this magical thing, you start walking towards it, and it heavily envelops you pretty quickly, and you maybe start feeling a little bit worried because you know the forest quite well, and all of a sudden you actually have no idea where you are anymore. All you see is a fire, like, dimly lit in the distance, so you decide to start walking towards it. And as you all converge on this fire, you realize it is a campfire. Nobody is around. Its origin is completely unknown. It looks like it's been going for a while, too. There's a lot of soot and ash and just broken down logs everywhere. And you decide to hold up for the night. I think the first one that gets there is probably Torek, followed by everybody else within a couple minutes. So this will just be a time where you guys get to know each other. So Torek is sitting at the fire, I'm assuming, and then Thistle walks up. So Torek, what do you do when you see this half-orc that looks worse for wear in, like, heavy armor and with some weaponry attached to him? He's walking towards you in the fire. Maybe Torek's dead.
Did we lose somebody?
Oh, he has to... I'm sorry, I didn't get that message. Okay, Torek is sleeping by the campfire. Thistle, what do you do when you walk up on this campfire and there's a little bit of light now? You can see in the surrounding area, maybe about 20 feet around you, like whatever the fire is lighting up. You see this dwarf with holy symbols around him just laying by the fire, sound asleep.
Well, the holy symbols make me think he's not evil, so I'm fine. So I just sort of wander in and sit by the fire. Don't disturb him.
You don't try to wake him up or anything?
Nope.
Thank you. Thank you. Because I don't know when he's going to be back, so... Okay, cool. So you're just sitting there?
Yep.
Okay.
And then my eyes are fading in and out, but I'm not asleep.
Okay. Okay, so Thoric is sleeping by the fire. Thistle walks up, sees that he's probably a devout believer in something at least, decides that I'm just going to warm myself up, sit down by the fire, maybe starting to fall half asleep or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a long journey and you just got out of a war or whatever, so it's understandable. I'm going to mispronounce the name. Is it Balian or Balian?
It's Balian.
Balian? So Balian, you are a little cautious at first. You're at the edge of where you can see. You can actually see. You're in the fog a little bit, but you can see through now at the fire. You see a half-orc sitting there kind of drowsy. You see a dwarf just laying by the fire. What do you do?
Do I have my horse?
You're on your horse, yeah.
Oh. Well, I was hoping you had taken the horse away.
You were hoping for that?
Yeah, actually, because
okay.
It's I didn't pay gold for the horse, so I didn't think there was any reason to have the horse. It's more of a noble rights thing.
This is gonna be behind the screen or whatever. Since you just gave me my thing, I didn't see that you didn't pay for the horse, so your horse magically disappeared in the fog somewhere.
Okay, so I'm probably swearing in a myriad of languages.
Sure.
As I try to gather my bags that were all on my horse and carry them myself.
Sure.
And I'm probably going to shout at the orc more of a, hey, or hoy, you there, some help with the bags.
Is he shouting at me? Yeah.
The half orc.
Yeah. I look over. I'm not really into it, but, gotta be helpful. I'm not worth anything, so I stumble over.
I'm not worth anything.
Stumble over and start saying, "What do you need?"
There was a horse. There's no more horse. Now there's you. This shit's heavy, man.
I mean, I'm not a horse. You're correct.
I'm not asking to ride you, my noble half-orc steed. I just need somebody to carry these bags to the fire.
All right, I'll help you out.
Okay.
So pick up the bags.
Yeah. Just seeing how much he has, you feel a little bit bad. You feel sorry that you even said anything at all that you would help, but you guys get him unpacked or get over to the fire within about 5 minutes worth of hauling, and you're kind of wondering how he's able to travel so heavily when it seems like he's not wearing anything at all.
I got my nice noble clothes. I got fancy clothes.
You said you had a horse?
There was a horse. No, there was a horse, and then there wasn't a horse. I'm sure you're familiar with magic. It's probably something to do with that.
Right.
I don't know where I am. Do you know where we are?
I have no idea, but I generally don't know where I am most of the time anymore, so...
Then I think the location of a horse is the least of our concerns.
Pedalwin, you hear talking as you get closer. You're still in the mist, but you're closer to the light now, obviously. But you hear two people talking and maybe some grunting and stuff as it sounds like they're hauling something big. So what are you doing?
I'm probably hanging back in the shadows a little bit. And if I can I see them? Can I see that they're...
Not yet. You can only hear movement, rustling of leaves and breaking of twigs and stuff, and talking. You can't really even make out what they're saying. You just hear some grunting and talking.
All right, can I move carefully towards the noise?
Yep. So just to where you're still completely in the mist, but maybe you can see a little bit better what's going on.
Yeah, I want to move close enough to where I can see them, but I don't want to be seen yet.
Sure, you're about 22, 25 feet away from the campfire now. You are in the fog. You can see them, although it's still obscured since you are trying to stay kind of in the shadows. So, like, you don't see perfectly what's going on, but you do see figures moving around and, like, maybe some hand gestures from somebody who's considerably taller than you and another person who is monstrously taller than you.
Oh my, they're very tall. Oh dear. I don't really know if I want to go over there yet. I need to find out if they're going to eat me before I go over there. Can I cast a minor illusion?
Yeah, sure.
I want to cast a minor illusion of a small animal like a squirrel that can kind of hop towards them or something so they can see it and see how they react to it. If they're going to react badly, then they don't really need to see me.
Yeah, sure.
They're nice to the little squirrel.
Sure.
Maybe they won't eat me.
Sure, yeah, okay. I mean, we're not doing anything special right now, so I'm just going to say that you do. The squirrel does look like a little different than a normal squirrel would. Maybe a little bit fatter than most squirrels, even. And it's a little glowy. Like, it's a little easier to see. Like, maybe shimmery or shiny than, like, a normal squirrel would be. So, yeah, you let it just hop out of the wilderness up into the surrounding area where it can be clearly seen by the others.
At least there's wildlife in the area.
The squirrel just looks up at you as you say that and tilts its head.
What time of day? Is it still dead night?
It's night, yep.
Okay. I'm probably going to start setting up my tent.
Okay. I'll just say that you do so for time constraint purposes.
Yeah, I'm gonna ignore the squirrel after my comment about, at least there's some sort of wildlife or fauna around here.
Sure. In the commotion of, like, getting the equipment out and you setting up the tent and maybe a little banter between the two of you that are here talking, I think Torek starts to be a little restless and maybe wakes up.
Yeah, Torek is a little bit on the grumpier side, so before he gets up, he actually, in that kind of mumbling and such, he actually briefly casts thaumaturgy on himself to make his eyes, like the irises of his eyes are normally like a dark gray blue, so when he opens them, though, they look like they're manifesting like flashes of lightning and thunder in them.
Okay, sure.
During the commotion and such, he kind of rolls over, sits up, and he kind of just grumbles, "What's with all the commotion?" And he opens his eyes, and the flashing of the lightning and stuff is in his irises and what have you.
Who's the dwarf?
I'm the dwarf.
No.
Yeah,
That's
he's saying that.
Who's the dwarf? I'm asking the half-orc.
He's a dwarf. He was here before I got here. He was sleeping. I didn't wake him up.
Oh, there,
He's
dwarf.
not a horse.
Dwarf, where are we?
He kind of looks up at you, kind of half groggily, and he sees you're all dressed in royal clothes. I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm assuming that.
Fine clothes, technically.
Fine clothes.
Yeah.
He kind of looks you up and down. And about how old is your character?
28, so I'm getting close to middling age.
He looks you up and down and goes, "Why don't you tell me, Lottie?"
Because I have just as much of an idea as you, I presume. And between the three of us, I gather we have a great idea that we are probably somewhere, I'd say, around a campfire.
Torek kind of looks around and he kind of nods his head.
Being a monster of perception, have I noticed the gnome?
Why don't you give me a roll to see? Are you specifically looking for? You don't notice, like, with your passive, no. You don't passively notice the room. No.
Okay, I was gonna say my passive is like a 16.
Yeah.
So, like the cause that I have in character for suspecting there might be something is a fat shimmery squirrel, which didn't appear to come from the thunder and brimstone dwarf, and I sincerely doubt it came from the simple half-orc.
No, you're right, for sure. It's not a natural squirrel. You've seen squirrels before. This is a different thing.
Okay.
Well, at this point, the squirrel is probably evaporated anyway.
Yeah. So when squirrels evaporate, it's cause for concern.
Yeah, that's even more suspicious, really.
Generally, they don't disappear into nowhere.
Yeah. So advantage on this roll or no?
No, not on this one.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So you look into the fog a little bit. You don't necessarily know what you see. You do see kind of like an outline or a shadow of some small mound, maybe hiding like near a tree or something in the mist, lit up very, very lightly by the campfire.
Okay, so as I complete my nice little sarcastic jaunt about us being somewhere around a campfire, I will also include, and it's likely we have company, though half a man, I'm not sure.
I'm going to use my divine sense.
Okay. What are you trying to do?
Just see if there's anything, if I can smell anything.
If you can smell anything?
I mean, that's how it's described.
If I smell my cologne.
Presence of strong evil registers on your senses like a massive, like a noxious odor.
Yeah, so as you're sniffing, you notice the smell you smell doesn't smell normal. It does smell like a normal campfire. However, you do get that little, that little spiciness of evil coming from the campfire in the surrounding area. But you can't smell anything specifically because it feels like it's all around you, like it's enveloping you.
It's leather and cloves, half orc. I can lend you some if you like.
No. This land is tainted with evil. It's not. Whatever brought us here, it's not good.
Okay, at this point, I have seen that there is a third member of this party, and he's a little shorty like me. So I cautiously edged into the firelight to hopefully greet these three strange apparitions in the fog.
Okay.
So, as the trio becomes a quartet, I suppose I should be the first to make names known, so I can stop referring to you by your races. My name is Balian Mordraken, a third-born son of noble house. You may call me Balian, and I won't be offended if you call me my lord, but I'd really prefer if you didn't.
Oh, okay.
My name is Thistle, because I'm merely a small twig which to others will step.
You don't look like a small twig to me. Just saying. You're kind of tall there.
My concerns are of bigger creatures. More powerful.
Homer,
You
the
there,
cops are
dwarf?
coming for you.
He
We're in
Dwarf
silent
kind of
battle.
looks around and cracks his warhammer by his side. Tark True Steel, Lord of the Storm.
Well, there doesn't seem to be a storm. Would you like to conjure one?
I use my thaumaturgy to create a rumble of thunder about 20 feet behind him.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
All right.
That was
You were
impressive,
saying,
sir.
Lottie?
That was thunder.
Yeah.
I also know some magic. I'm Pedalwin Corkwood of the Green Forest back there, and I'm a most powerful wizard. Greetings.
All right, cool. So you guys are set up for the night. You probably cook some meat or whatever, maybe have whatever rations you guys have. I'm not going to take anything away from you, though. We'll just say that this is the opening night thing, so you just eat, make sure you're alive and whatnot. So you realize soon that this darkness doesn't seem to be going away. It seems to be getting darker, as if night just turned into more night. And you're starting to wonder kind of what's going on here. In the distance, as the fog is starting to part a little bit, it's maybe 30 to 40 feet away from the campfire now. You see a path that it doesn't look like any of you have traveled through yet. It doesn't look like anybody's traveled through it in many, many years. In fact, it looks completely undisturbed. You hear a small sobbing sound coming from around the bend.
Small sobbing.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just automatically start walking over towards it.
I'll approach cautiously behind the half-orchidon.
Okay.
Torque gets up to his feet and kind of puts himself between Thistle and Balian.
Okay. And Pedalwin,
Detect magic?
You
What-
can, but
what was that?
Nah, never mind.
she was going to cast the spell, but then she changed her mind. No magic missile at the darkness here.
Okay. So as you walk towards the bend in the path, you cross you turn the bend and you see there's a gravel road. It looks like it leads to a village. The village has tall houses and it looks like tombstones from here. Like it looks like a bunch of tombstones rather than the normal architecture you're used to seeing. Nestled among the solemn dwellings are a handful of closed-up shops. Even the tavern looks shut tight. You still hear the whimpering, and it draws your eye to the right, where you see off the side of the road looks like two children.
Is that where the crying was coming from?
You would assume so.
I walk over to the children, see what's wrong.
As the half-orc is walking towards the children, I'm going to kind of reach out towards him, but not try to touch him. Like, Thistle, you're the one that said this land is full of evil. Evil loves to take the form of children. Let's approach this cautiously.
Torque kind of mumbles, yeah. Nothing good can come of a place where the taverns are closed.
Nice. As you
I
get
do not live with caution. If they're children suffering, I must help them. If there's evil here, I will kill it. Or try.
Yeah, so Thistle, as you approach like closer and closer, you hear the crying. Like it's obvious cry now. It's obvious sobbing. It looks like it's coming from one of them, while the other one is telling the noticeably smaller, younger looking one to be quiet or they'll find us.
Mm-hmm. Do they notice me as I approach?
No.
And walk right up to them?
Oh, you're gonna walk right up to them?
Tower over them, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as you do so, they both look up at you. One of them is a young boy, the other is a slightly older girl. They both look up at you in awe.
What is wrong, child? Why are you crying?
The girl looks up at you as the younger boy is still slightly sobbing and can't really say anything. She just says, "There's a monster in our house." She points to a tall brick house down the way.
What kind of monster?
She just shakes her head. I don't know.
I'm
I
going to
just heard...
saunter I'm going to saunter on over, and once she finishes what she's saying, I'm going to ask where we are.
Sure. She essentially just says like, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I just hear it every night.
Is this a real monster or a child's monster?
She just continues to look up at you. Like,
I
tears are starting to well in the sides of her eyes.
I asked the girl if she can tell us where we are.
Well, you're in Barovia, of course.
I can't say I'm familiar with the name. Who's the local lord?
She just like this deathly pale look just like goes over her face as you say who's the local lord, and she just starts trembling.
That's always a good sign.
Well, I'll go see about this monster, I guess. I'm inclined to believe the child simply because I already sent people, but...
I'm going to ask the children, has the monster done anybody any harm?
She just looks at you and nods.
Who?
My mom and daddy, they're in there still.
Are they dead? Are they alive? Did you see them alive? Come on, kid. Give me information here.
Can't you see she's upset?
And does that change the outcome?
I move over to the little girl and I cast prestidigitation to make a little dancing figure in my hand to try and cheer her up a little bit so that she can speak a little bit more clearly.
Sure. Yeah, she's like amazed by the magic, although not as amazed as you're used to people looking. Like, it looks like she's probably seen some magic in her time before, but nonetheless, she likes the dancing figure, and she's just kind of drawn to it. She starts to cheer up a little bit. She's calmer, noticeably calmer.
There now. Perhaps you could tell, well, my lord here, what he wants to know?
She nods. She says, "Yes, my mom and dad, they keep it in the basement. We have a baby too. Third floor nursery, I think, is the last place we saw her. That's where the nursemaid put her."
They keep this thing. They know what it is. They're aware of it. I'm gonna walk in there and get slaughtered. All right. A little bit of information here. Let's not go swords and sorcery barging into the house. Maybe we should scope the place out, take a look. The children, or these two anyway, are already out and supposedly safe. No need to go charging into a trap.
Sure.
I slightly acquiesce, and so instead I just kneel down in front of the children and say, "There is evil and suffering is mighty in this world, and it will one day destroy you and everyone you love. It is inevitable. There's no reason to fear it. You should live your lives justly. All will be well, but you are doomed. There is no need to cry." And then I walk away and wait for these people to be done talking to kids, because I have no interest in talking to kids.
Yeah, there will be time for scripture later. Let's go scope this house up.
Yes, come. We'll show you. And they start walking a little bit ahead of you.
What the hell? You were terrified 2 seconds ago, and you're going to take me to your monster?
Yes.
Kids
these days.
days.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and take the hand crossbow out and load a bolt, and make sure the rapier is loose in its scabbard.
Yep. You're ready for anything that happens.
Yeah.
Cool.
Whatever evil is across this land probably isn't caused by whatever was in their basement. So I'm just as inclined to move on to find the greater evil as I am to deal with this.
Yeah. Well, after we kill their dire rat, I'm sure we can move on and figure out what's going on around here.
Sure.
Calming my charm in my hand, just for my magic.
I'm gonna talk.
Arcane focus, my crystal.
Make sure you talk at the microphone. It's one direction.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't talk at the microphone, they can't hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm palming my arcane focus, which is a crystal, as I follow behind the other two.
Okay, cool. Thoric, what are you doing?
Toric brings up the rear, but has his shield out in front of him, but he doesn't have his warhammer ready quite yet. But he's bringing up the rear because they propose stealth, and decked out in heavy armor and as clumsy as he is, stealth isn't his strong suit.
Yeah, sure.
Understandable. So how far away were these kids from the campfire?
They were probably about 50 feet.
Oh. Excuse me, gentlemen. I'm going to jog back to the campfire and put my armor on.
Good luck with that.
It's studded leather. I can don it myself.
Yep.
All right.
I won't make you do any of the time stuff. You just do so.
Yeah.
Yep.
So whenever I do get back, since you said we're skipping time here, let's scope the house out. How many entrances are there? Are there windows? What are we looking at?
Yeah, okay. So let me bring you over to the next page here. Let me know. You should be able to see a picture of the front of the house as you walk up on it.
I do. Holy
well,
hell.
It has a door.
Looks like it's got a door. It's a 3-story house, maybe with an attic on top of it.
They said this thing is in the basement. So
Yes.
There's a basement. Is there a cellar? Or maybe around the backside?
That you're not sure of. Do you want to just like go around the house,
Yeah,
like the whole house, and scope it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you do so, you wonder how it is that they have houses these days still without more than one entrance and exit.
All right.
One way
So
in,
no,
one way out.
no cellar. No, there's. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 ways in.
Yeah, you know, as a rogue, you're right. You see multiple entrances and exits.
Yeah.
This'll just stands in front of the door. He goes, "Let me know when you're done with your trickeries, then I'll go in."
You know, Paladin, I'm sure as a battle-hardened veteran, there have been multiple times where you have engaged in tactics and strategy on the battlefield. Maybe you can look at entering this house as a form of tactics and strategy to not get slaughtered as we enter the battlefield.
All that matters is being stronger than your enemy.
You know better than
Not
that.
stronger will die anyway. Tricks have never helped anyone I knew.
Man, I feel bad for this half-orc.
They were all smarter than me, but they were all
God
weaker.
damn.
Okay, so
So
so front door. We've got to check out the basement. The kids want us to go inside. Are the kids gonna like take us in the front door?
it's strange, but you don't notice them anymore.
All right, where the hell are the kids?
Oh, that's just great.
Dwarf, what did you do with them? Did you eat the kids? Half-orc, did you eat the kids?
What you do notice, however, is that
The kids were in front of me the whole time.
although you could see like most of the village as you were walking up to it, now that you're all standing in front of this house, that mist that obscured your vision looks a little bit darker, maybe even sickly now. It doesn't look like a normal fog anymore. It starts swooping in slowly in a radius.
I don't like this.
Maybe your horse picked them up.
Maybe. That seems likely.
Maybe they were your horse.
Maybe,
Magic is weird.
magic is weird. Speaking of magic and small creatures that aren't children, Miss Gnome, is this house ensorcelled by magic?
I could see.
Let's find out.
My people never have these problems, you know. My people live in trees.
Well, that's wonderful and grand, but when it rains, I imagine there's a lot of leakage. Anyway, about the house.
Oh, yes. I cast Detect Magic.
Okay. As you start feeling out to see if you can naturally just like feel if there's magic in the area, you're kind of engulfed in this overwhelming like aura of it. It doesn't seem like the magic that you're feeling is coming from the house, but more rather that you are in an ocean of it, drowning slowly. You can't detect specifically where any magic origins are. It's just everywhere.
I would like to check to see if the door is locked.
The door is not locked. It opens on creaky hinges.
Oh. Okay. Well, the door is open. You gentlemen who have armor much sturdier than mine, mind taking the lead?
Yeah, we're going to take a small break there, actually, while I get your tokens set up, and I have to use the washroom as well.
All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
Okay.